Have you ever spilled your coffee right before an important meeting or missed a deadline at work? In moments like that, it's easy to feel like everything is suddenly spiraling. And maybe almost automatically, you imagine the worst possible outcome. That habit has a name. It's called catastrophizing. Catastrophizing is the tendency to expect the worst possible outcome, even when there's little or no evidence to support it. It's the thought that says, if I spill my coffee, everyone's going to notice and think I'm incompetent, instead of simply cleaning it up and moving on. It's important to say this really clearly. Catastrophizing is not a sign of weakness. It's a natural human tendency. Our brains are wired to anticipate threats. But when this pattern becomes habitual, when we repeatedly jump to the worst conclusion, it can become distressing and truly exhausting. Catastrophizing usually shows up in ordinary moments, not in dramatic ones. At work, you might miss a deadline or make a small mistake and think, this is it. They're going to see I'm not competent. I'm going to lose my job. A missed task becomes a prediction about your entire future. In creative or performance settings, say playing music, you might forget a section and think, everyone noticed. They're going to remember this. I shouldn't even be doing this. One moment becomes a permanent verdict about your ability. In relationships, a minor disagreement can quickly turn into, this always happens. This is how relationships end. Instead of seeing conflict as temporary, the mind jumps straight to loss. When learning something new, struggling with a skill can sound like, I'm just not wired for this. Other people can do it, but I never will. Difficulty becomes proof of limitation. And sometimes catastrophizing shows up really quietly as a global conclusion. I mess everything up. One moment becomes a definition. In each case, the situation itself might be uncomfortable, but the real distress comes from how far the mind travels beyond the facts. Part of this goes back to evolution. Our brains evolved to prioritize survival. Focusing on potential threats helped our ancestors stay alive. That same threat detection system is still active today, even though most modern challenges aren't life or death. Past experiences matter too. If you've lived through trauma or if you struggle with anxiety, your brain may be more sensitive to perceived threats. And uncertainty itself is uncomfortable. Catastrophizing, despite how unpleasant it feels, can sometimes create a sense of control because it gives us an answer, even if that answer is bleak. In some cases, this pattern is learned. Growing up in environments where worst case scenario thinking was emphasized can quietly train the mind to expect the negative. The good news is that this pattern can be loosened. One helpful tool is cognitive reframing. When a catastrophic thought appears, ask yourself, is this thought realistic? Instead of, I'll embarrass myself forever, try, I might feel awkward for a minute, but people will probably move on. The goal is not forced positivity, it's balance. Mindfulness and grounding techniques can help too. When catastrophic thoughts arise, take a pause. Take a few slow breaths. Bring your attention back to the present. One simple grounding exercise is the 5-4-3-2-1 method. You notice 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. This helps to interrupt the spiral and reconnect you with what's actually happening. You can also slow down the thought process itself. First, identify the thought. What are you afraid is going to happen? Then ask, what's the worst that could realistically happen? Next, challenge that idea. How likely is it? What's more probable? Finally, replace it with a more balanced perspective. And don't hesitate to seek support. Talking with trusted people or a mental health professional can help bring those patterns into clearer focus for you. Cognitive distortions like catastrophizing are common. They're not character flaws, and they're not something you experience alone. The goal is never to eliminate negative thoughts altogether. That's completely unrealistic. It's about awareness, perspective, and self-compassion. Catastrophizing is a natural tendency, and it's one that can be managed with awareness, mindfulness, and reframing. It's about noticing when the mind jumps ahead and gently bringing it back. Thanks for taking some time today to check in and join me here. If these ideas connect for you, you'll find more content like this at Quiet Frontier, where I explore mind, meaning, purpose, and connection. There are links in the description. Thanks again for checking in. Take good care.
The sun sets on your evil and your good. You try to do what's right. Try to do what you should to get on by. Be careful of the dangers when you give your soul to strangers. I'm going home to Cindy's arms tonight.